What it is, what it do, cyber world. It's your girl, the one and only Ash Brown. And this is Ash Brown Uncensored. On this program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be pop culture related, but it's probably Ash Brown related. So you got to stay tuned to see what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to discuss today. I won't necessarily categorize her as a friend, but I have someone that's in my orbit who has a daughter that is about preteen age or whatever. And she knows about a lot of the stuff that I used to do when I was like really hardcore in the industry and doing things and modeling, acting, all the whole 9 yards. And she was like, Ash, my daughter, she's this and she's so beautiful. And I know, people are always complimenting her and I want to get her an agent. I want to get her into modeling, blah, blah, blah. What is it that she needs? And I told her just flat out, I said, does she have a social media following? No, she don't really deal with social media. I don't really deal with social media. And she's like, why did you just wince like that? I was like, because in today's world, the way things are, you kind of got to bring the whole package to an agent. And she was like, what do you mean? And I told her, I said, back in the day, back even when I was doing this stuff, you just needed to have like a strong portfolio, headshots, all the 9 yards, and you were good in getting in somewhere and getting signed and all the things. Today, agencies and agents, they want a whole package already done to where they're just going to, put their stamp of approval on it and then on with life. So I told her, I said, they're not going to talk to her. They're not even going to talk to y'all unless you have a pretty good following, like, of people supporting her because the industry wants what's popping. A cute face ain't going to do it. Back in the 80s, even the early 90s, people getting discovered at malls and all that stuff. That doesn't happen today. That's not realistic. Well, I think that you're wrong. Well, you go and do it your way and tell me how it goes. So she went and they got in contact with an agent of sorts. And, she came back to me and she was like, Ash, you were right. They want to know about social media. They want to know about streaming numbers. I said, yeah, it's a whole thing today. It's not like when we were kids when, like I said, you got some good headshots. You got a good portfolio. People have seen you around the way. That's one thing. Today, you got to bring the whole package deal with you. So I told her, I said, look, you need to start getting her to posting on social media on a regular basis, even if it's once a week, posting, and something. You've got to create content. Every time you leave the house, that's content. Every time she goes to school, that's content. You don't have to do something big and boisterous to make it content. All you have to do is find a way of curving the perspective. People don't need to know you headed to school. People don't need to know that you headed home. You just have to have something striking to say, something that is going to get people interested or maybe even commentary. Because, again, they don't want the shy little girls. They don't want girls that they got to pour 110% of marketing and management into because they want you to really come already in a package deal. And she took my advice. And her daughter got signed recently to a pretty big modeling agency. And I was like, oh, she was like, Ash, thank you so much. I know I was a little apprehensive at first, because I thought that you just didn't want to help. And it's like people will they won't hear behind the words. It's not that I was telling her no. I was like, this is what you need to do. If this is not what is already in y'all's plan, you need to start implementing that. You need to start implementing that. So her daughter got signed to a major modeling contract, darling. And again, a lot of it was they needed to really up the social media game, up the going out to events. And again, every time you step out the house, that's content. It's just really, how are you going to, how are you going to frame it? That's what it comes down to. A little hard work, little elbow grease, get up in there and it'll be fine. So that's my little tidbit for the day. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a fantabulous week ahead, darlings. I love each and every one of you. Keep pushing forward no matter what. Have a prosperous, peaceful, productive week ahead. And I will holler back at y'all later. Deuces.